Good evening. I'm just getting ready to start dinner. I am doing a creamy, cheesy beef and noodle dish. Something very quick and easy for a dance night. So let's go. I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've got some organic ground beef. This is from Costco. It's a little over 1.5 pounds. So I'll cook that up. Got some frozen cheese that I shredded up and froze, and then just some flour for a roux, some bow tie pasta. I do not have beef broth, so I'm using this Better Than Bouillon. Heavy cream, some tomato sauce, seasonings, garlic, onion, and olive oil. Alright, so I've got my ground beef that I'm going to start cooking up here, and in my other pan, just out of sight here, I have water boiling, and that I will go ahead and cook up my pasta once that water is boiling along with my meat. Alright, I've got my meat all cooked up. My noodles are done, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop on Instagram and go live, and then I match the videos together for my YouTube. So I'm going to go hop over there and I'll add it to this video. Hey friends, I am getting dinner going. I already did some of the prep work, and I am going to make a complete video for YouTube, but I thought I would go live for this portion of it. I am doing just a creamy tomato beef noodle dish. We have dance tonight, so just another quick easy dinner. So I have already cooked up my ground beef, and I have the Costco ground beefs there, a little over 1.5 pounds. So I cooked all that up, and I also pre-cooked my noodles. I'm using bow tie. You can use whatever kind of noodles you want. I did just over 3 cups of dry noodles because I want to have some leftovers for my husband's lunch. So I cooked the meat, took it out. Now in here I added some olive oil, and I'm going to add in some very finely diced onion, and I'm going to show you what I'm using for my onions, and I'm really liking it. I got this chopper. Oops. Oh, the piece is out. I must have put the piece away already. Anyways, it has a little thing with a cutter, and you just push it down. It chops them beautifully and really, really small, and it's a lifesaver. So I am really enjoying this. I'm going to get rid of that since I'm done with it. But I am really, really liking that kitchen tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and saute up my onions. I did season my ground beef with some salt and pepper. And just going to saute these onions up just to get them a little seasoned, or a little softened. And to go alongside of it, I have this tricolor sliced carrots, Stallbush Island Farms, from my Azure order, going in my steamer, my veggie steamer, like my rice cooker veggie steamer. These carrots are amazing. I don't really care for cooked carrots, but these are really, really good. So we're going to have this on the side. And so, pasta and carrots, and I've got some fruit. So we kind of have to eat before my husband gets home because of dance. So this will be a good dish that will hold so he can eat when he gets home. So just have the onions going there. Sorry, blind dog. If you watch my videos, you know she always runs into my stand every single time. I don't know. It's like she sleeps most of the day. She'll be 17 at the end of the month. But when I start doing things with the camera, she always comes out and runs into it. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and season my onions a little bit here with just a little bit of pepper, just a teeny bit more salt. I'm not doing a ton of salt, but a lot of the stuff I have doesn't have a ton of salt in it. I am using some broth, so you don't need a lot of extra salt for that. And I actually didn't have any beef broth on hand, but I always try to keep bouillon or Better Than Bouillon. So I used a couple teaspoons of this just in some hot water for the broth that I need, since I don't have any broth on hand. Alright, so those onions are just softened up a little, so I'm going to go ahead and add some flour to this. And I am using the Sunrise flour mill flour that I always talk about. It's heritage flour, and it's super fresh. So even though it's somewhat local to me, I still have it shipped just because the pickup times don't work for me. but oftentimes it's like milled the day before I get it, so it's super, super fresh. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cook, just gonna run into that again. I'm gonna go ahead and just cook down the flour. You just wanna get that flour taste out. And if you don't have enough oil, you can always add a little bit more in there, which I'm gonna do just to help it cook down a little bit better. You could use butter. There really wasn't much fat to drain off of the meat, but you could also use the fat if you were using a higher fat content beef, but mine I think is like 93.7 from Costco, so there's not really much fat that comes off of it. So you just want to let that cook for a minute. About this, and then we're going to add the beef broth in here and let it thicken like you would a roux. Just keeping my noodles from sticking together. And I did cook my noodles just to al dente because they're going to sit in the sauce for a little while and you don't want mushy noodles. That's not good. Okay, so this is cooked now. I'm just going to add in a little bit of my broth at a time. And you just have to be patient. Roux take time. I learned that I used to always rush them and they never turned out and I couldn't figure out why, and I learned that I was just always rushing them. So, and this is just going to help to thicken your sauce so it's not super, super runny. And of course the noodles are going to absorb some of it and you're going to add some cheese in. So this is 2 cups of beef broth. Like I said, I didn't have beef broth on hand, so I just used Better Than Bouillon. It's always nice to have those on hand, or dried broth. I'm going to make beef broth. I have the bones for it. I just have not had the time, since it's a very time-consuming thing when you're making beef broth just from the bones. If you're not using something like a chicken that I've already cooked, doesn't take as long because the chicken has already been cooked. So anyways. Okay, so just gonna let this sit for another minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in my garlic to it. I just minced up a couple cloves of garlic. And then while that's going and thickening, I'm gonna add in some ground mustard. And just about a half a teaspoon of that. And some paprika, and I will add in teaspoon of that, and then some Italian seasoning, and I will add in 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Alright, so I'm just going to mix this together. And so it's thick, but it's not thick like gravy thick. This is not like a gravy. So, mix that all in there. Alright, and I realize I don't have my liquid measuring cup, so I'm going to grab that really quick. You know me, if you watch me, you know that I never ever have everything I need. Somehow I always forget things. Okay, now I'm gonna add in the tomato sauce. So I got these Bio Nature strained tomatoes in my Azure order, and they're no salt added. The ingredients are literally organic strained tomatoes. So I really like the tomato paste from them, so I think I'll be happy with the tomato sauce. And I'm just going to add this in there. This is a 24-ounce thing. I think I'm going to start out just by adding in like 12 ounces, and I can always add in more, but we don't want to have too much. So that's 8 ounces, and I'll just throw this in my fridge and use it for another meal. Okay, so we'll start out with 12 ounces of tomato sauce. So there is literally no seasoning to this other than the tomatoes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stir this up. Get it all mixed together. So if you wanted it more tomatoey, you could do more tomato sauce, less beef broth, kind of however you want to do it. Get it all mixed together. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my noodles. Again, they're just bow tie pasta. That's a huge bummer. My phone just shut off, so I don't know, it like restarted itself. So I have no idea how much of what I was doing got missed, so I apologize to those of you who are watching. I am going to combine the videos on my YouTube, so if you were watching the first part and I got disconnected and you're wondering what happened after and you're not able to catch it while I'm live, I am going to combine it all together. So I don't know what happened. That was really, really strange technology. So I've got my noodles and I let them simmer while I was waiting for my phone to restart. So I've got the noodles in the sauce in here and they are simmering. I'm gonna go ahead and add back in the beef that I cooked. And just mix that all together. So, yeah, that's such a bummer. I have no idea why that happened. But other than technology. So if you were watching earlier and I got kicked off, sorry. But I thought I would at least come back on and show you the rest of the recipe so that way you could see what I was doing. So, anyway, so I don't know where it cut me off, but I've got the noodles that were just gonna cook for a few minutes in that sauce and put my beef back in there. And then I'm going to add in some cheese and some heavy whipping cream. And then just let it cook for a few more minutes and wait till my colorful carrots are done. And yeah, so if you missed the first part, I got cut off while I was doing it. So I will share I'm hoping I can combine them and just share the video on here. But otherwise, I will definitely share it to my YouTube and you can find my link in my bio. There we go. Okay, heavy whipping cream. Let's get that going next. So I'm gonna add in some heavy whipping cream. This is, how many? 1 pint. So there's like 2 cups in here. So I'll do like half of it. Some of it was used already for a different dinner. So kind of depends on how creamy you want it. But that's probably about a cup's worth of heavy whipping cream. And then I'll add in my cheese, and it will be so delicious. And of course, I'll share a picture of it, like I always do. Okay, let's get some cheese in there. And as I said earlier, I bulk shred my cheese and then freeze it if I don't think we're going to use it within a short amount of time. Otherwise, it's good for a while in the fridge. I just use my KitchenAid attachment. So this is just some cheddar cheese. Couple handfuls in there, however cheesy you want it. And you guys can see my jars from Azure. I finally got them washed, sitting on the counter back there. Actually, I shouldn't say I washed them. My husband washed them for me. So just gonna go ahead and mix that cheese in there. 1 pan, or like, I guess this was 2 because I had to boil the noodles, but still, like a skillet meal is such a quick, easy meal when you are busy, and we are busy. All right, so let me just show you what it looks like because I know you can't see it perfectly. So there you go. It's delicious. It smells delicious. That's that. I'm just gonna let it sit for a few more minutes while I wait for my colorful carrots to cook. And like I said, I will try to mesh the 2 videos together since I got cut off. Hopefully I didn't miss out on too much before I realized it was off. So have a great night.